What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to In Tune Hip Hop. It's been a while, but we are back to review some more music content. Today, we are reviewing the long-awaited, the long-anticipated debut album from SZA, Control. We finally got it, y'all. We finally got Control.
After 3 years.
3 long years, a few delays, a lot of controversy. We finally got SZA's album, and I see you're very much in tune with the vibe of the album with this guitar that you
supermodel, you know what I'm saying?
Really,
the album starts off with guitar, so we got to start our review.
It's only
with
appropriate.
the guitar.
It's only appropriate to start off.
Yeah.
But no, to really get into this album, man, like Control, we finally got it. It's been a long time. Like a lot of people have been waiting on it. SZA has a really rabid fan base, and so now finally after years, Top Dog finally delivered the album. What do we think about it? How do we feel? Just to kick it off, man, like what are some of the general thoughts about this album?
For me, this is the album I think I exactly wanted from her. She's singing so much more and so much more powerfully than she like normally does in her normally than she has done in her past. So this is, I don't care. This is top 5 album of the year for me so far. Like this damn near top 3. So I love it off just a quick glance. So that's how I feel right now. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think in a time where I think female R&B is at a very rough place. It's at a different place.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was needed. I enjoyed it as a listening experience, and I always love to see how like Black women react when music like this come out.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's also like for me, I think she's like what makes it Leah was successful is that males can relate, males can listen to it, have a great listening experience, and I did too. I thought it was fun.
It's real.
Amazing.
I think just in general the album, man, like it's raw. It's a really raw album.
Yeah,
like there's
man.
a lot of raw emotion to it. Like she's really just like speaking things that like I think a lot of Black females or females in general go through, especially when it comes to dealing with men. And she's just like naming it. She's not really holding back what it is. She's just naming it, calling it out for what it is. And I think it's like a male listener, we listen to it like, damn, I've been that person. Like I've done that before. Like I've been in that position. Or I mean, you might even know people, or you might just be able to relate to it in general. And so I fully respect that she got really grimy with it. She came with it. She just said what things were, like talking about, just infidelity, relationships, all that type of stuff. Like, and she's only, she's what, 25, 24?
She
like
might be 24.
20,
yeah,
she's
she's kind of young.
She's still young, so it's like, she's still dealing with like all these emotions herself. Like we don't have it figured out at this age. And I think that's like one of the things that like we often forget. Like love is always like conceived as like this perfect thing. Like there's this archetypal thing of like what we think love is supposed to be.
And when it's not that.
And when it's not that, people are so disappointed or feel like they've been like scammed or whatever it is. But like we have to remember that love is not perfect, and it comes in many shapes and forms. And she just basically said like, we might conceive it to be this one thing. It might be seen as like this dream or this idea, but it's just not always that. Like it has a lot of ups and downs to it. And so like to hear some, real emotional music like that, especially like you say from a female R&B perspective, like it was really refreshing.
And what was crazy, and I kind of touch on, is like I was watching a lot of these Breakfast Club interviews with her, and it was like everybody wanted to bring up like, oh, this is like backlash about like, oh, it's like seems like you've been heartbroken a lot, like you know what I'm saying. I felt like put my little feminist shirt on right now, like. It's a double standard. Like Bryson Tiller can make a whole album.
Don't nobody ever ask him what girl it's about.
Like, but nobody says like, bro, what, you was heartbroken.
Who broke your heart?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you gotta do that? So like, of course, everybody's been heartbroken. Like that, in essence, that's what R&B is. It's about either love or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? People forget. People was like sliding on the floor crying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you bringing some old
R&B.
Go
back to an
that's
R&B.
true.
I'm
definitely cutting the clip in right now.
No, it's all about emotion. Like it's supposed to invoke those emotions, and like you say, it's based off of just the fact of like love and like how difficult and how real it can be. Like people's feelings are super fragile, super real, and so like yeah, you're right. It is a double standard, and like I didn't like a lot of the criticism that she was getting from certain listeners or whatever you may call it. Like you can't have that double standard, especially when it comes to art, man. Like it just doesn't. it just doesn't work the same. Like it's like this is still a human who's giving her perspective on things she's done, which she also mentioned, like these things happened a while ago.
Yeah.
So she's removed enough to be able to give, I feel like a more of an unbiased perspective
I love her
on
responses.
it. Yeah,
She
yeah.
was like unbothered, you know.
Yeah, her responses in interviews, I think, definitely make this album a lot better. She's also not one for the bull when they start trying to like put her into a box.
Not at
When they
all.
start trying to talk about like very specific relationship things or like the perception of women,
Well,
she's not going.
She don't go for it.
She knows like you have to do this, you know, as far as like regularly make you PR stuff, but she knows like her core fan base like appreciate her for the art.
Yeah.
We're at a time now where people like have fan base specifically for their art. So whenever, you know, the media tries to push this way, it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
Right.
They tried to. It was like a headline. Like, I mean, Revolt apologized for it, but they tried to put like Tinashe up against SZA.
Yeah.
They both signed to RCA too.
Both
They
signed
both
to RCA.
and like it's just they both were just like not going for
No,
it.
I mean it's two different lanes, two different like
just
everything.
don't stop trying to. It's not like one spot for you know what I mean.
Yeah,
There's plenty of room.
It's
Plenty of room for all of
but
this to
especially
exist.
with female
Yeah.
artists, that's lacking right now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
more.
But outside of the media hype for me, one of the things that I liked is, so I think from my interpretation of the album is just all about just relinquishing control, right? So it's like what and what that means in different situations. So I think one of the best things was like her so freely talking about her insecurities and where she messed up and where other people messed up,
Right.
and just accepting it like for what it is and not like. I don't want to say not harping on it, but like it's just in such a way like this is what happened. This is how I was feeling. This is how
Right.
X treated me, how Y treated me. This is how I responded. And then what ends up happening is when you do stuff like that, I feel like it's very relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Because she can admit her mistakes or how she was feeling, or even simple stuff of just like sometimes people just want like attention, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a thing on now, but no one wants
Like
to
you said,
admit
it was raw.
Yeah,
it was raw. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people really just want some attention, and that's just
Exactly.
that's
It's
just
like
part of it. That's real.
It's almost at these times like I'm almost jealous of artists because it's like everything you want to express, like you can do it through your art and
Right.
Fully, and
not
people
be, you know what I'm
not be
saying? Like
alone.
you can leave it all on the line. There, and I think
Mhm.
that's what she did.
Fully.
That's why it's so relatable. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
to everybody, like anybody, like whatever you are, male, female, you hear somebody put it all out, you like, I'm fucking with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open
Absolutely.
wound. Well, I mean, she's removed, but like it looked like an open wound.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, to kind of go into the technical aspects of the album, how it sounds and everything, the writing, I think like with all of that said, just like with the overarching themes, I think the execution of it was also brilliant. Like the production on it was
Amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
I mean,
through.
the cohesive sound of it all, like she has a lot of different producers on the album, but just like the sounds of it, just really refreshing to hear, coupled with like her voice and her singing, like you said, was just like super impressive because I wasn't really expecting her to come as strong as she did, just to be quite honest. Like I've heard of, you know, a little bit of her music. I'm not too familiar with her before this album, but like I was just really impressed overall that like I felt the emotion, you know, through the lyrics, through the writing, through the singing, all of that. Like it just seemed like a full, complete experience for me. So like all of that was just like super impressive. I thought that the way it was put together and mixed and the order, everything, I thought it flowed really, really well.
I would actually want to touch on that. So, having been like a big SZA fan, like SZA's put out like I think this is technically her first album. Z was an EP and she had 2 or 3 other projects before, and those are all really good. But she talks about how she didn't really go on a tour until she went on tour with Jhené Aiko after Z dropped.
Yeah.
And when she went on tour, she she had no choice but to learn how to sing really loud. She has to sing over the band and over the crowd and everything.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was on this album, what you have is SZA like really, really coming into her own vocally versus kind of when she started, she did kind of what is a little more trendy now, which is to kind of drench your voice in a little bit of reverb and kind of like have yourself be more fleshed into the instrumental so that like, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of hard to pick you apart.
Yeah.
And it worked out so much. I think not actually I don't want to say so much better because I wouldn't mind if she went back to that either.
Yeah.
I think that to me this album showcased her strength as a songwriter because she's proven in the old stuff she can do like them super crazy metaphors and stuff.
Heavy.
But then on this one she was like, let's just hit it. Let's go straight forward with it.
yeah.
She proved like she can sing well past like expectations and she proved artistically like he said, like she can fully execute something like that. And then we know her pen game is crazy because she's been writing for what Rihanna, Beyonce, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
Plenty of
more
people.
in the
Yeah, I
pocket.
was
We don't even
just
know.
gonna
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of people.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I think, kind of like you were saying, I think I was watching that interview with her, and she was saying that she wanted to like make a album like when you think of your favorite albums of all time, and I think towards that is why she chose like I'm gonna use like my like vocals for real, and I agree. I did see the transition. Like her vocals were very on like a you know what I'm saying, like some of the artists that you're gonna remember forever. Like you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like a lot of standout tracks to me like give me like a feeling like when I listen to like a Shaka Khan or Sade just because of like you know what I'm saying. It's like specifically it's them, it's their sound.
Yeah.
You know what it is. Like
you know what it
like
is.
you can hear her and be like, okay, cool.
Exactly. I like again.
This is
too,
branching off from the
I
pack.
love the production. The production on that was fire because I mean you got like real instruments and like the drums like were trendy and then sometimes they weren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it worked when she used it.
And then she even started. I mean, like just the start of the album is like just the least trendy thing I feel like you could do for R&B.
Yeah,
like
oh,
the
for
start and
sure,
end
yeah.
both start with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
and it's dope.
Yeah.
And it works. It works really well. So I guess like with that said, like with some of the things that we like from the actual like technical side of the album, like what are some of the standout tracks like you guys feel like really worked and stuck out, like those few tracks that probably catapult this to a good album to a great album. I mean, for me, I feel like it started off really strong. Like we had Her Love Galore before it came out, but like I feel like that's like a really good song.
Man,
Doves in
that's
the
an
Wind.
amazing song.
Yep.
Like
That little sequence, that run right there is crazy.
yeah, like it comes in really strong, and it never really loses momentum for me. So I mean, those are just like a couple of the tracks I like instantly. But of course, like one of the ones that has been getting the most attention, I think, is The Weeknd.
I hate Twitter.
Because that is something that
It's because of
it's because of the subject matter.
Just because Twitter was like, this is the side
Yeah,
song,
yeah.
and it's just like completely removed from like the context of the album. And I hate Twitter.
And then Doves in the Wind kind of picked up that same.
Wait, time out. Can we talk
that
about?
is a standout.
So, as a super SZA fan, she put a snippet up of Doves in the Wind in late 2014. Like that exact, like the beginning of it, and I'm so happy she
I can
actually.
see that being in the works for a while.
And it came to fruition on this album. I mean, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. Like that's really dope.
She's one of them types that delete everything off her Instagram and stuff. So like I remember watching, I was like, I need this song.
Yeah, like I gotta keep this. No, that's crazy. Like she has like some really good songs in here, and like I said, they all flow like super well into each other, and just like the format and the structure of it, I just feel like it really plays into like a nice narrative of like some of these themes that we were talking about in general. And I mean, overall, like it was profound. It was a really profound listen, and there's been so much hype around it for so long, and like that's immense pressure, especially like as a newer artist.
It is.
She
On a label like TDE.
Oh yeah, like
that's a lot of pressure.
you're standing next to like hip hop titans like Schoolboy Q, Kendrick, like
and you're the only
Isaiah.
woman too.
You're the only woman on the label. That's
really
a
gotta
lot of
kick it.
pressure from people like placing these expectations, like, oh, we haven't heard a SZA project 3-4 years, whatever it's been, and to still come and deliver. And there was controversy. Like there was a point where people thought she was gonna quit music, she was gonna quit TDE.
Yep.
She didn't do it. Like that was just emotion happening, but like she still delivered like you said. I think one of the top 3 to 5 albums of this year so far, easy. Like that's a lot to deliver on.
You got your standouts.
Yeah, I really wanted to obviously Love Galore was a standout. I mean, we heard that before. Man, I couldn't. That was on repeat for a while.
For sure.
Obviously, Doves in the Wind. I just
K Dizzle.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, K-Dot verse was crazy. And it was funny because I had a friend come over and was like, he was just like, man, what does this all mean to you? And I was like, I love when artists do that, when it makes people like think too much or think too like. I'm like, just like I love it when that. But you know what I'm saying? I just love the total direction of that song. But if I had to pick like my favorite song on the album is Gardens. That song is like I think that's gonna be. I mean her vocal range was just crazy. The content is like, I mean it's just so tough. I think that's one of those songs that's just gonna like for me it's gonna go down. It's like kind of it's like a Mary J. I Can Love You. It's like
my kids go hear
like,
it.
it's like
It's gonna be cleaning in the kitchen.
Like you know what I'm saying. It's like what you've been missing as far as melody, what you want in your life, and I really enjoyed that track.
So like I think for me, It's most of the album is a standout, but like in no percent. I'm gonna go in order the track list, but Love Galore, just like just for reasons we talked about. Doves in the Wind, because I've been excited to hear it. Drew Barrymore, which also came out before the album, but I only listened to it like once so I could get it in the full scope of the album. I'm really glad I waited because it fits super well.
Yes, yeah.
And then just the content matter, just like I don't know, just like insecurity and dealing with exes and stuff, which is dope. The Weeknd is good. Go Gina is a vibe.
It is.
Garden, like we talked about, and then Broken Clocks is one of my favorites too because it also
definitely,
also
vocal range.
Great
we
track,
gotta shout out. I don't know if y'all saw Diddy pouring his heart out to Garden.
I love that.
No, that was great.
I was like,
let's cut to a clip.
I'm obsessed. Congratulations.
No, I mean a lot of artists in general have been showing love to this album.
Yeah.
Like, you see Solange on Instagram like
was
singing like that's love, man. Like SZA is still, I mean, she's still considered new. She's been doing music for a while, but she's still considered a new artist because this is like her first official album. But like we have like mainstream superstars like paying
loving this.
It's
Yeah.
just showing you that at like such a crazy time we are in music. That undeniable, like if your music is good, it's like it's undeniable. Like,
it doesn't
no
matter.
one's gonna,
Yeah,
like, none of that other
ignore
shit
the
matters.
hype machine,
None
ignore
of
the
that
Twitter,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
shit
If
matters,
it's
you
good,
know?
you'll know.
for sure.
Man, I ain't even done. Wavy Interlude is cold just because James Fauntleroy is that. I'm happy when he's on there.
Yes.
And
I
personally,
any project.
I know, right? You could put him on. He was on Vince Staples probably.
Vince,
It was
he's on
cold.
Try, he's on everything.
But,
early Drake.
Pretty Little Birds is amazing. I love
man.
their duets are always ill to me. So I was super happy to finally get another one after. I think the last one was on Zay's project. It was like Stuck in the Mud, but before that it was like West Savannah. What was Warm Winds like? So I was so excited to get another one. So like I think it's damn near like 6 or 7 tracks, like standout tracks for me.
Yeah. No, I think that's the great. Like we said, the whole album is really amazing. So I mean, even have 6 or 7 standouts, like that makes sense. So I guess to like wrap up here and like really give like our final thoughts and our score. Like, I mean, for me personally, I completely agree with you. I think this is one of the best albums of the year. Like, it's really up there because of just, for me, how unexpectedly good it is, and like the fact that she had all of this pressure, that she had a lot to live up to, and to still come out and deliver like such a raw, grimy, emotional, just real album. Like, we don't get it too much, these days, like these real projects that really just make you like whoa, man, it's just kind of throwback. It's throwback to like albums in the 90s and the 80s. So I mean, it felt good to like hear some music like that. And for me, I'm giving it a 9. I think it's like super strong. It's something I've been listening to ever since it came out. Like, nowadays music is so quick, we listen to it so fast, and like it's real easy to get off a project, but I haven't left this project since it came out, so it gets a 9 for me.
Exactly. I literally agree with everything he said. I have not stopped. I listen to this album at least once a day still. Be at work, just still listening to it. So I think going off that, just watching her evolution as an artist, watching her play with different sounds, like be able to sound like classic R&B and never kind of lose herself in the process is like amazing. So I'm definitely going. Yeah, let's go 10 out of 10. I mean, there's not a thing I don't like on the album. There's not a single track where I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to that one. I'm like, yeah, no, let it run through. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm going with it.
I agree with both of y'all. I'm also in love with her too, so she hasn't watching this. But
Hey, watch your mouth.
Just to throw that in there.
I'm gonna now let's really cut to a clip of the picture I took with her.
Throw
'cause
yeah, whatever, you
that's
got a
wifey.
picture, whatever. But no, I agree, and
She liked my picture on Instagram, cuz what you talking about?
you social media.
I'm saying it was twice though. It's 2
Just,
different
you
pictures.
know.
I'm just talking. I'm sorry.
Just keep your hands off for next time, you know what I'm saying? Just, just get that.
But
that
no,
on there.
you was definitely right. I mean, it's always good to hear some like, man, we haven't got R&B like that since the 90s. Like, I mean, just music, And I rate melody different than rap because it just gives you a different feeling, man. Songwriting is hard.
Oh,
Yes.
People do not get artists don't get enough credit when they can really songwrite
Yeah.
and turn that over.
It's
So
such a
I
wide
mean,
spectrum too.
like, I don't even, off a couple songs, I give it a 10. The whole album vibe, but like, just off a couple songs is like, wow. So I mean, I'm going with 10 too.
That's real.
Yeah, man.
Can't argue with that, man. I mean, it's a phenomenal album, phenomenal project. Happy it came out. Happy we finally got to be listening to it for a long time. That tour is selling like crazy. Souls are sold out all over the country. So obviously she's doing something right. But that's all we got for our review of SZA's album Control. Thank y'all again for tuning in to Intune Hip Hop. Make sure to subscribe, hit that button, follow us on social media, Intune Hip Hop. St. Louis is out here. Just want to throw that out there. And we will catch y'all next time. Intune. It's been real.